Morning, all. All right, so preview and news of the daytime. There's only the two games tonight, so the preview doesn't have to be its own video. Both games are starting at 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific, so early night, which is good because it's an early day tomorrow, and it's a 14-game day tomorrow, yet again. So 14, 4, 12, 2, 14. Yeah, that sounds about right. Okay, so at 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific, the New York Islanders are in against the Montreal Canadiens. Now, if you think there's no reason to watch this game, of course there is. The Islanders are 34-30-9 overall. Their last 10 games are 6-4. They did lose their last game against Pittsburgh last night. Away from home, they're 15-17-5. They are 15 points behind the Washington Capitals with 9 games left, which tells you the maximum number of points they could get in those 9 games is 18 points. So this is a pretty tenuous hold they have on playoff hopes. Montreal, on the other hand, 20-43-11. Last 10 games, they're 3-6-1. They've lost 3 in a row. At home, they're 10-21-4. They are 41 points out of the playoffs. It seems like a lot. The good news, and one of the reasons to watch this game tonight, is 31 is back. Carey Price is in the net tonight for the Montreal Canadiens. So there you go. He's back. Montreal puts guys on LTIR. There's enough room for Price. In he goes. That's the whole plan. Now all they have to do is get 41 points over the remaining 8 games, and they're in the playoffs, and then we can all get angry about it. All right, so let me know who you think is going to win that one. And then also starting at 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific, the Winnipeg Jets in against the Florida Panthers. The first 2 meetings between the Islanders and Montreal were split. November 4th, the Islanders win 6-2. February 20th, it's a 3-2 shootout victory for Montreal. Now, the other 7 o'clock game, 4 o'clock Pacific, is Winnipeg in against Florida. Winnipeg's 35-28-11. They've already lost once against Florida this year. That was in Winnipeg, 5-3 on January 25th. The last 10 games, Winnipeg holding on to that faint playoff hope. 5-4-1. They've won 2 in a row. Away from home, they're 16-13-8. They are 8 points behind Dallas for that final playoff spot. So, again, the hope is there. We'll see how it works out. Of course, 8 points behind Nashville as well, right? 52-15-6 is the record for the Florida Panthers, who are 9-1 in their last 10. They've won 8 in a row. It just feels like Colorado and Florida are playing with the rest of the NHL. Like, it's just whenever they feel like it, they can impose their will and win games. And so we'll see how things change come playoff time, because Colorado and Florida just seem to be that far above everybody. And at home, Florida's 31-6-0. They're 8 points clear of Toronto in first. And I don't know if anybody's mentioned it, but Toronto's playing well lately. So, yeah, we'll see if Winnipeg can overcome tremendous odds against them with Florida. Because even though this game isn't a must-win for Florida, they seem to approach each one as if it is. And they really seem to enjoy coming from, being behind on the scoreboard. We'll let them get 3. And then, fooled you. We won. So, yeah, we'll see how it goes tonight. Transitioning into the news of the day, starting off with the biggest news of today thus far. Mike Bossy has passed away. We had heard recently that he had been put into a more intense care, not intensive care, but sort of a situation where he was being looked after 24/7 as well. And yeah, he had an extensive battle with lung cancer. So my condolences to his friends, his family. There's already been an outpouring from the hockey world in regards to this. And yeah, he was one of the most skilled goal scorers in the history of the NHL. Bar none. Absolutely one of the greatest. And if not for his back, I think everybody would be chasing him on the goal scoring list. He made it look effortless out there. So yeah, it is an absolute shame, of course, and yeah, my condolences to all of those affected by this news. All right, but around the rest of the hockey world with tonight's action, the Boston Bruins, who didn't play like a team last night that wanted to clinch a playoff spot, we'll see whether or not they're lucky, and that if the Habs win in any fashion over the New York Islanders. So if the Islanders only get a point tonight, that clinches a spot for Boston. So I guess that's a way to clinch. Again, it looks like Boston probably ends up in a wild card spot. But yeah, so Montreal, you're cheering for them if you're a Boston fan tonight. I know that's weird. Tampa Bay has announced that they have extended their goaltender Elliott for another year. Yes, Brian Elliott will stay as the backup, 1 year extension at $900,000 as the cap hit. The interesting thing with Elliott for me is that around the halfway mark of the season, his numbers weren't necessarily all that great, but he's been very good lately. So yeah, I think that's a good signing for them, and it means that they're going to keep Vasi and Elliott as the goaltending tandem next year. I don't think that's a bad move. Alex Nedeljkovic last night almost made history, 46 save shutout. The Detroit Red Wings record for shutouts is 50 shots. Now keep in mind, shot tracking wasn't always a thing. I think it came in at 55, 56 is what I was reading. So I still think that if they had tracked it from the beginning, Sawchuk's record of 50 probably still would stand for Detroit. But yeah, that's not bad. And then in terms of being a rookie, he trails only Darren Jansen, who had 48 in a game for Philadelphia in the 80s. And then in the 70s, Mike Palmateer for Toronto had a 47 save shutout. So those are the records for rookies. He was close. He was very, very close. So yeah, good on him for having a good game. And as I said in last night's review, it really is a matter of consistency when it comes to Nedeljkovic, which is not unusual for a rookie goaltender, which I think is easy to forget because it feels like he's been in and around the league for a while. And so, yeah, all the best to him. Austin Matthews last night reaches the 100-point mark for the Leafs. And what always surprises me, and I mentioned this as well last night, is that Gilmore and Sittler are the only other Leafs that have ever had 100 points in a season. And you think about all the famous names that have played for Toronto, and it's surprising that they didn't have other 100-point scorers in their history from 67 and back especially. They had some very good players, 80-point seasons, sure, 90, why not? But 100 points. Only Doug Gilmore and Daryl Sittler have been able to record that. And so, yeah, for Matthews, he's reached that status. And again, it really is going to come down to how things go in the playoffs. Jack Campbell was asked after last night's game about the hit from Tom Wilson and basically said along the lines of, I went to the All-Star game, I hung out with Tom, Tom's a nice guy, which everybody has said that he is off the ice. But he was definitely just staying middle ground and not wanting to throw any fire on that. So I think that's great. Jack Campbell is really a decent guy, and this is why people root for him, because he just seems so humble and down to earth, and he doesn't take that, like most guys would say something probably not quite as cordial about Tom Wilson, and Campbell just shrugs it off and says, nah, it's fine. He seems like a nice guy. I'm sure it wasn't on purpose kind of thing. And yeah, I think that's the right attitude to take. So kudos on him for that. The Pittsburgh Penguins last night, that was the 16th straight season that they've clinched a playoff spot. That is the current record in the NHL as in terms of active playoff streaks. They are currently sitting at 9th in the playoff streak department. I think Detroit still has the record. It's 25, 26, 28, somewhere around there. Boston, I know, had the record there too. So we'll see how far this can go. It is more impressive now than it was in, say, the 80s or early 90s when you have more teams and you're still making it into the playoffs. So, all the best to them on that. I don't know that they end up setting the all-time record. That's still quite a ways off. But they do seem to know how to keep rearming and rebuilding and keeping things going while they're still a playoff team. And so, yeah, all the best to them on that. Let me know your thoughts regarding any of these items in the comment section below as always. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happened upon this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.